Thanks everybody for coming and attending and to help understand the SOE transfer process. Hopefully it helps you out tonight. Before we get started, before jumping in, I'd like to acknowledge the Silks Okanagan people for providing me with the beautiful unceded land territory that I play, live, and work on here in Kelowna. UBC Okanagan respectfully acknowledges the traditions of these Silks Okanagan people. We would also like to acknowledge the traditional territory you currently are on, and also take the opportunity to respect and honor the presence of Indigenous people from past, present, and future. Tonight, you're lucky enough to have Samantha and myself. Tamara has stepped away for family duties, which is totally understandable. Myself, I'm Patty Osterkoff, which many of you may already know. You've gotten emails from me and been chatting with me, which is great. I'm the program specialist with the School of Engineering, and I'm part of the Engineering Academic Services team. Also joining me is Samantha Lukow, who is my manager, and she is the manager of the Academic Services team. And she's going to be helping me add links into the chat box when we get to certain links, because then you can copy and paste them into your own documents and refer to them later. And it's super helpful. Sometimes you need to know where were we discussing that. So copy the links into your own page. It'll be super helpful. A couple housekeeping. Samantha, did you want to say hi?
Hi, everybody.
She's going to jump in as if I forget certain things. We all work as a team here. Sometimes she knows more things about a certain item. I may know more things. So we work as a team. And if she jumps in, I welcome all the information that she's going to share with you. A couple housekeeping items, and I'm sure a lot of you have questions. If you can do me a favor and jot them down and wait for the question and answer period at the end, it would be greatly appreciated. I've left lots of time to answer questions. This presentation portion is only probably about 15 minutes, and then we can spend a lot of time answering specific questions. As you heard earlier, Samantha turned on the record button, and so this is going to be recorded, and then we will, in the next couple of days, upload this for the students that weren't able to attend, or if you want to send the link to somebody else that it might be useful for. So, okay, jumping in, what are we going to be covering today? I want to explain briefly what the CAB board is. I want to go through a few steps that might help you with pre-registration. I want you to understand where you can find forms, and I want you to know where other services are available to you. And then we're going to go into the question and answer period. It is helpful if you are able to take notes. Hopefully, most of you were able to attend the registration webinar that Tamara did last week, last Thursday. If you didn't get a chance to, see it, I believe Sam just posted it into the chat. You could copy it and take a listen to it. It's super helpful, lots of tips and tricks, makes life much easier before your registration and on your registration date, because that can get very stressful. So just be ready to take some notes and maybe jot down your questions for the Q&A period. The CEA board, Canadian Engineering Accreditation Board. Okay, this is a little bit of background so that you can understand why we're so picky about our transfer process. We are bound by the CAB and their regulations. What they do is they ensure that Canadian engineering programs offer the highest standards of education, which allows graduates to become professional engineers and receive their PEng, which I'm sure you all would like to get at the end. They come and do visits 5 to 6 times a year and scrutinize and review our program, offer suggestions, how we can get better and all that good stuff. But one of the biggest things that they always ask is, what is your transfer credit process? And what do we allow into our program to ensure its integrity? So if it seems like it's a little harder when you're in an engineering program versus a general science and a general arts to get the transfer credits, this is why. We are really bound by the CAAB. So a little background information there. Okay, we're getting into the nitty-gritty, and there's just a lot of information here. This is where you might want to take notes and jot down questions. And I'd love your questions because it's the first time we're offering this webinar. So ask away. First step, you have applied and accepted your offer. Admissions now gets all your transcripts. It's very important for you to hand in all your transcripts so that we can see all the courses that you've done. And they go through it as they're the first point of contact, and they will add any UBCO eligible courses into your transfers tab that I have circled in the top there. So on the top left there is your general workday. You go into your student academics, and then you'll get the tab or the ribbon at the top. The ribbon at the top is where we're going to be working during this webinar today. Some of the engineering courses are generally transferred right into that transfers tab, and they'll be called AppSci courses. Okay. Mid-May, when you started getting your emails, we pull the transfer list of students that are coming from the admissions, and we start going through them one by one and fine tooth going through it with a fine tooth comb and seeing what are you coming in with and what can we add to your APR as for transfer credits. I have to look into your transfer credits tab and see what then I can add into your APR. We're going to get into your APR in just a second, but before we get there, I want to explain the 2 to 3 types of transfer credits that could be listed in your transfers tab. If on the right here it says there are general transfer, if it says general, that means the content was a math content and it's a first year content that was coming in or a course that you took elsewhere, but it doesn't match a course one-to-one at UBC Okanagan. So they'll give you math first. Same with the physics. Now, something in between, it's not a general, but it's not a specific. A specific transfer credit is when they use one of our AppSci codes. That means you get credit for this AppSci 171 and it goes straight into your academic progress report. And none of us have to add it in for you. It's automatically there. However, the middle, those are some general arts and science courses that we just know off the top of our head that transfer into our AppSci courses, and we need to do that manually. So if you see this Phys 121 or Math 100, Phys 121 equals our AppSci 178. Math 100 equals our AppSci 172. If you see that these two have not been added to your academic progress report, you can then email us and we'll move it in and update your APR. Most of the time, I can only work with what the admissions has put in the transfer table. The only time I deviate from that is if I know the institution, if you're coming maybe from a common first year engineering transfer program, and I know the institution and it's a one-off like AppSci 140, and I'm not sure, I'm just throwing this out there, from Camosun, isn't in the transfers tab, but it looks like you're a Camosun student, then I'll go into your external records and I'll look in your transcript to see if you completed it. If you completed it, then I will add that to your requirements. Those are one-offs, and those are just things that live in my head. Most of the time, I have to work with what's in the transfers tab. Okay. So here we covered specific, general, and then kind of these arts and sciences, which is kind of in between, but still needs to be applied to your APR. Next. Another place, and I'm not sure that students actually do see this. I think you do. You have a history and the notes history section. You will not see your years 2 to 4 course requirements until you choose your program. So many of you, if you're still it's only seeing your year 1 courses, that means you're just in the Bachelor of Applied Science and you haven't specialized into civil or electrical or mechanical yet. So you will only see first year courses. If in the transfer credits, there are some courses that are second year, like AppSci 201, that I cannot add into your APR because we don't have you in a program yet, I put all the transfer credits in the history so that advisors can actually look there if they need, if you're going to them for help with your schedule. So, and you should be able to have record of this as well. You should be able to see it because I click the button that says students should be able to see this. So this is another place that you can look to see if your transfer credits, if they're not in your APR, hopefully they're in this history notes history section. Okay, we're talking about this academic progress report, the acronym of APR. This is what a completed APR looks like. I have gone in, you can see there's a mixture of specific transfer credits on the right and then general ones. And then you can also see that there's a math science one that I've applied. But in order for this override assignment to happen, I need to have a course to place within it. And that will give you in the on the left-hand side in the quotations there, or in the brackets, sorry, it says override assigned. That means I have been able to assign a course to replace that. Some of you, if you're coming from the bridge program, or if you're coming from a program like a second degree, you don't get transfer credits when you're coming from a second degree or from a bridge program. We have to waive the credits, and that's usually done by either transfer agreements or transfer credit applications. So then in those brackets, you'll see something called waived. But waived and override, they mean the same thing in the status, and the status will always stay as satisfied. So these courses, if you see this, this means you've satisfied all these and you have nothing remaining in these 7, 8 courses. Now, to see an incomplete version, this is what an incomplete version of your APR looks like. Somebody is coming in with 5 of the 12 courses required for first year, and I've added them to their APR. You are going to need to know this for 2 reasons. Number one, either you have taken courses that you can apply a transfer credit to, or you need to take these courses to fulfill and change the status to satisfied and complete. Let's go on. Okay, if you need to do the transfer credit, if you need to go into the transfer credit version of that, you're going to need to fill out an application form. And this is where you have to do a little bit of legwork. You need the full syllabus from your institution. You may need all your syllabi, because you can attach more than one syllabi to one of our courses, because maybe you've done some topics in one course and topics in another course. So you can combine courses for one of our courses. I hope that made sense. Application form, you will find that on the SOE website. I believe Samantha is adding that to the chat. You can look at the course descriptions on our academic calendar. She's going to add that. And there's also the advising sheets that'll tell you what you need to take when. So from your previous institution, what courses have I taken that complete this course? And then you fill out your transfer credit application, your TCA. The transcript, if you don't want to attach your official one, that's fine, but we need to see that it could be unofficial, but we need to see that you completed it and what was your grade. Please remember that this is a super busy time of year, and it can take a few weeks to get a few weeks up to a month, or even sometimes even 2. Depends if the instructor's away on holidays for the summer or they're teaching overseas. So sometimes it can take a while. If the transfers do not get approved or they don't appear before registration, please do not worry. You and I have all summer, and Tamara, whoever you're getting help from, we have all summer to make your schedule. It doesn't have to happen on your registration day at the time of your registration. What you should do, though, is register for all the courses you don't have satisfied in your APR. And then as we figure out if they're transferable, then you can drop them as you get the results from your applications. Please register for them all. That's very, very important because you want to get into them. So that's the transfer credit application. Second, if you are looking at this and you're not going to apply for transfer credits because you didn't cover any of these items, you are going to have to register for them, and you want to create a schedule. So you've taken the registry, hopefully you've listened or watched or read a lot of the registration information that's out there on Workday. You want to create a safe schedule. You can only take 6 courses per term. And they're only offered, when you look at advising sheets such as this, you could see that the first 6 courses, they're only offered in term one. You can't turn around and take anything from term one in term two. It's pretty set in what's offered when. The only time it deviates is that we take some high failure courses and we offer them in the summer. So please know that, oh, I'm going to take 169 in term two. No, you can't. You're going to have to take 169 in term one because that's the only time it's going to be offered. So that's when you're going to start creating your schedule. For this particular student, you're going to have a mixed schedule. You're going to say, okay, well, I want more than 2 classes per term. Well, then you can start looking at your second year courses that you qualify for. And how to figure that out is you can go, say, you got this student in particular, got AppSci 172, 173. They did Math 100 and Math 101, which is Calc 1, which is Calc 2. So that actually in term one, they don't have to take 172, but they could take AppSci 248. So, oh, sorry. So you could fill in that spot where 172 or Calc 1 is with Calc 3 because you have the prerequisites for it already. This mixed schedule takes a little bit of planning, and if you are having troubles figuring it out, please make an appointment with Tamara or actually, most of the advisors are really good at creating schedules. So please take some time. Don't wait until September. But at the same time, you do have until I think it's September 21st, which is the add drop deadline, to finalize your schedule. So you do have a lot of time. One thing I can point out here is the red stuff, the red numbers and letters, those are hard prerequisites, and the yellow numbers are co-requisites. Those are courses that you take at the same time. Okay. We pretty much guarantee that all engineering students will get your first year courses. You have to get into all these courses. If you're worried that that the sections are all going to be full, we monitor that very closely and we open up sections when it's needed. So please do not worry about it at registration time. We will get you into all these courses. Sam, do you have anything to add at all at this point in time?
No, I think this is really good information. It's hopefully you guys are finding it helpful as well.
Okay.
The only thing I would add is just make sure that when you look at the advising sheets that you're looking at the program that you're planning on going into. So the
Okay.
sheet Patty's showing on the screen is for civil engineering. If you're
Yes.
planning on going into mechanical engineering or computer engineering, you're going to need to make sure that you have the correct program that you're referring to. Otherwise, you'll take the wrong courses.
Thank you. Thank you. I should have put that on here. That's very great to know. If you go onto our website that Sam has added there, you will see all the advising sheets and what you need to take. Now, one thing I do want to add is if that 248 isn't going to fit into your first year schedule for some reason, you can go down and jump in and take a humanities elective. And on our website, you can see a list of humanities electives. It's pretty open to a lot of the arts classes. It can't be a scientific class, and something with a lab or something like stats. It has to be something like psychology or economics or philosophy, or it can even be a language. You could take a second language, but nothing with a lab and nothing with stats and nothing scientific. Okay. And we could get more into that when we get to the question and answer period. Adam, I do see your hand up, but we're going to just wait until the question and answer period. I just have a few more slides and then we can answer away. This is one that you really need to understand as well. Registration tokens. Workday does not recognize transfer credits. They don't recognize courses outside of AppSci, outside of engineering. And in order to register for subsequent courses with the transfer credits as prerequisites, you have to request us at our email for tokens. Now, this is where it gets a little confusing. Say you have transfer credits for 173. That's not the token course. The token course is AppSci 248, the one you want to take, the one you want a special key for. Think about a key going into the door. I want access to that course. I do have the prerequisites for it, but Workday isn't recognizing it. So can you give me a token so I can register myself? As easy as that. You email us, put in the subject line. If I know that it's a token request, I can jump in there. Let me know your program because I need to know which program to put you in before I can actually give you a token for a second year course. One thing that you need to know is tokens are only good for that one term we give it for. So say you ask for a token for AppSci 248 for this winter term one. You decide not to take it, and maybe you want to take it next summer. You need to ask for a token again for next summer's term. Then you decide, oh no, I'm not going to take it in the summer. I'm going to take it the winter after that. Then you have to ask again for that winter. It's very specific to the year and the term. If we have issued you your registration tokens, down below in the ribbon, the whole ribbon that we've been working with the transfer credits, the APR, registration tokens, you can look there and you can see if we have issued them for you. Usually I will email you back and say, you know what, I've given you your tokens, you're good to go. But if you don't get that, you could keep looking registration tokens. Maybe I had to answer the phone or I had to go somewhere else and I didn't have a chance to email you back. Okay, and I know that you might have questions about tokens, but we will take these questions at the end at the question and answer period. Dates, registration dates. Now these are the earliest. When you won't have it yet. You're not going to have your registration date. They're going to send it to you a week before your registration. If you're in year one, you are going to register either on June 22nd, 23rd. But that's just the earliest date. You can register anytime after that. We can't guarantee the sections that you want. That's why everybody kind of jumps on right away. They want to get the prime schedule. But this is just know that this is the earliest that you can register. You haven't for term one, you have until September 21st, and that's the add drop deadline. For the second term, you actually have until January 18th to decide and figure out and finalize your schedule. That's the add drop deadline. Okay, year two, you have July 6th or 7th, year three, June 29th and 30th, and year four, they get first dibs of all courses. And you will appreciate that in year four as well. Something that you should know is that if you came in with a lot of transfer credits, but maybe from an institution that we don't have an agreement with, your class standing may have been class standing 2. Once I go in and start assessing your actual files and transfer credits going into the engineering Bachelor of Applied Science program, those credits might be going down. You may only be bringing in 5 courses, which then will drop your class standing in our program to class standing or year level 1. So just so that you're aware, it could fluctuate after I've reviewed and made sure and checked what comes into our program. I believe Samantha was going to put in the registration dates link so that you could have that. For other registration specific information and resources, Tamara's webinar, there's the link down there. One thing we also have on our School of Engineering registration page, Sam's going to add that link to the chat. Please take some time to go through the School of Engineering website. There's so much information there. In fact, more information in our engineering is the forms database. We love forms. Okay, this is where you are going. You can actually even Google. A lot of times you could go School of Engineering, UBC Okanagan forms, and it'll show up. So a lot of times you don't even have to email and ask us where the forms is. Try Googling it, and a lot of times it'll pop up. Transfer credit application will be in here. There's deadlines included if you read the application, and it also goes through what's required. We went through that earlier. Academic concession, sometimes students need to use that. Sometimes there's unforeseen reasons that you can't make it to your final. You need to make sure you read the policy before not showing up to your final, but please know that there is a form for an academic concession if something does happen and there's an emergency that needs to be attended to. Your academic progress report, if you see something on your APR and it's not updated, because engineering is so specialized, we have to update APRs all the time and plunk. Like once you get to fourth year, you're going to have design and technical electives, and we have to do those every year manually because they change every year. So we are constantly updating everybody's APR. And if you notice that you need something updated, just fill out this request and we'll have it done within a week or two. If you want to take another course outside of our faculty, maybe next summer, if there's you first year courses are pretty easy to get a letter of permission as long as you're in good standing. Second, third, fourth gets much harder. But if you want or are considering taking a course outside of our faculty, even if it's just at UBCO in the science faculty, you still need to fill out the letter of permission and get permission to take that course. We want to make sure it's transferable and we don't want you to waste your money and then say, well, we're sorry, we can't add this to your requirements. Another very popular form is a registration waiver request. Maybe you want a pre or co-rec waiver. Maybe you want a credit limit increase. Maybe you have a conflict that's happening with some of your courses and you want to know if you could take both of them if it's less than a 30-minute conflict. I have to take this course for a third time. All these in the registration waiver, that's where you want to go for these specific items. All these forms and all these kind of administrative tasks, they kind of live with the academic services team. It's kind of difficult for us to explain the difference between academic advising and academic services. These are all academic services. These are things we do within our program. But if you ask yourself and you say, oh, I need to have a conversation with somebody to help me build my schedule, or I need to know oh my God, I failed a course. Now what do I do? Or I'm struggling to keep up. Where can I go to get extra help? And can I take a course at UBC Vancouver for the summer? Those are all career and advising questions that you can ask Tamara or any of the other advisors. So that's kind of the differentiating factor between an academic advising and academic services. Some other really handy is that I get in the inbox, I get a lot of students asking about Workday. My Workday's are not working. I don't understand why my Workday is doing this. IT services actually allows students to come right in and ask, and you can get help with Workday right in your IT services. If you are a student with special needs and you qualify for academic accommodations, you could reach out to the disabilities resources. If you are an international student, I'm sure you'll be familiar with the Global Engagement Office. And we also have an entire department allocated for Indigenous students for extra help. And I actually think that's it. And what I want you to do is, I think most of you know our email already, but I put it there anyways. And